Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
DentonRadio.com. We are located in the beautiful Discover Denton Welcome Center on the ever getting hot, gorgeous Denton Square. Y'all are tuned in tonight to Sound Value, sponsored by LSA Burger Company. My name is Kine Beats, and I am sitting here with my squad from Something Modern. We've got Look of the Year, a.k.a. Lofty Beats. We've got YSA. We have our master and commander of social media guru, Gabby, right here. And of course, y'all have seen this man with me before up here trying to make beats to make y'all boogie Breezomatic. So how is everybody doing tonight?
Fabulous.
Very good.
Pretty good,
All
man.
right. That's what I like to hear. So tonight we're just here to, first off, discuss some stuff that we're working on. We've got a release coming out called Foliage. I keep saying foliage. Like it's a really
Understandable.
bad thing that's been happening. a lot.
Foiled again.
Foliage. But we're also just here to talk beats, social media presence, how it all works and how we all keep it organized, and kind of the music we're listening to, things of that nature tonight. So it's really a big roundtable discussion where you're going to get a lot of different opinions from a lot of different people. So I'm going to start off with some questions. All right, so we're going to start it off. Now, Labrie, we're going to start with Labrie because we all know that our man here has been pumping out tracks for how long? How many have we had in a row, Lofty?
3
Like
weeks.
For
Yeah.
four.
Four
So
tracks.
we've got
Should
four.
have asked me that.
Yeah.
We have 4 tracks. Now, Labrie, you know, we all saw this as you challenging us secretly.
Oh,
you know,
sorry.
as it was kind of your small way of going, hey, y'all
What's
need to
up?
start putting some content out there, you know? But how did you kind of start to do, and why did you just start to just putting beats out every Sunday?
Well, I got a huge database of beats that are dormant in my computer. They're just nobody's listening to them except me.
Yeah.
And I listen to them until I hate them, and then I'll never release them. So, so I'm just like, hey man.
So
let's
you're releasing them so everybody else can hate
Better
on
let-
them too?
yeah,
Better
yeah.
not let it get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to release them while I'm still excited about them, and hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Well, okay, so you've put out a few here. So I'm going to go to our Something Modern Instagram, which y'all can click, because I'm pretty sure we shared quite a bit of the stuff. Am I right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
thank
Let's see. We'll go here. Where's that other picture? Is it this one right here? Yeah. So my favorite one is Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that one's awesome.
that is the
That's
jam. Does anybody else have a favorite that they liked? We had Flight, Weirdo, Solar Funk, and Hearts.
I really like Weirdo.
Ooh.
I really like
Okay.
that
Well,
one.
thank you.
I thought Solar Funk was pretty nice.
Man, this is great.
That's what I like to hear. Now, what I am going to do real quick is I'm going to ask Labrie, could you go turn that record player on right there? Just click. There's a little power button. You can click that on real quick.
Okay, yeah.
So I want to go ahead and actually I have it in my likes. So we'll go to Super Zoom Hearts. I'm going to plug this in real quick. Sorry, I'm on the way here because I kind of want the people to hear
Is the filter one?
what
This
you're
is-
putting out. Whoop, let's get down here. We'll go here.
Super Zoom Hearts is basically a remix of the Instagram filter song.
Oh, yeah. You're
yeah.
so right.
That one's dope.
Did you actually sample
really
that?
like that.
Yeah, I sampled it right from the Instagram. yeah.
All right, so Super Zoom Hearts. Is that the
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering about that.
That's it. Yeah.
I love it.
So this is just recorded straight from the filter, and then I added some sauce to it.
Yeah.
Gotta add that sauce.
Yeah.
Super
And see,
crucial.
like that's what I was like. Why is this so familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, man.
I was cruising to this.
Hey.
You put
Windows down.
You put this on the same mixtape as your Miami track.
Man.
Yeah.
Good
Ooh.
night, man.
Yeah.
I'm rolling in a pink Cadillac.
Yeah, man.
I might drive
Yes.
a busted Lexus, but it's a pink Cadillac when I'm rolling to these tracks right here.
It's a lanyard, bro.
And man, I listen to music on these headphones a lot,
Yeah.
and yours sounds way better than mine in there, so I'm kind of jelly right now. I
Damn.
You
have
got
to
that lander.
take a few tips.
Yeah, man.
Have you been using Lander lately?
Lander is lit, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you play in the background while we're talking.
Okay,
I feel
fair
like
enough.
I feel like it's right.
Well, I appreciate that.
So how do you feel about Lander? Because you hear a lot of people kind of knock
Look who
on
it is.
Lander.
Yeah.
Some people like it. Some people kind of like laugh at it. They pretend like it's nothing and it's not any good. How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's a tool like anything else. So you get to, it doesn't make the music for you. So you get it to a point. Basically, you mix it down to where you got a little bit of headroom. What's up, Sanford?
Hello.
Sanford Black in the building, everybody.
Yeah,
Sanford
player?
Black's here.
It's
He's hanging out. One of our favorites. Here's your mic, dude. We had to bust that one out for you.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so we
Special
were
mic.
talking about Lander.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey now, here it comes. A little beat battle between Lofty and Sanford.
Oh,
Were you
snap.
beatboxing earlier? Did I miss it?
Yeah, so we were talking about Lander. So it's a tool, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So you get done with your track. You mix it to where you have a little bit of headroom, and basically it kind of boosts all your frequencies, so it plays. It masters it for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So it does it real quick. You can use it to distribute your tracks. So I just upgraded to where I can distribute my tracks, and it'll export into like HD waves and stuff. And basically, it puts it on Spotify, YouTube,
Lander
Tidal.
does this.
It does that for you?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So it's like a distribution
I just
service
experimented
as
with
well.
it this weekend. Yeah, they have samples. There's like tips on how to do stuff. It's pretty. It's
Nice.
pretty cool.
awesome.
Because you see a lot of you see the advertisements on Facebook and stuff, and there's a lot of not nice comments where you have those certain people
Oh,
who are
yeah.
sound engineers that are like, oh, this
The
is-
old heads.
Yeah.
yeah, like come on, all analog is how to go. But if you feel like it's a good tool, then that's what's up.
For in about 3 minutes, you can master a track.
Wild.
Yeah, so I think that's a matter of how much you want to have your hands on it. Maybe the old heads are preaching like you should take care of this thing, foster it on your own, in your own way, and release it as well into the world in your own way, through the old ways. And we can always take
Right.
lessons from those who've come before us.
Absolutely.
But we don't necessarily have to adhere, but we always have to take note.
Yeah.
Hey, but if this is like 3-minute mastering, sounds pretty good because that's a
Yeah.
it's a 3-day process
Yes.
per track
Exactly.
generally for me
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
Because
You labor over it, you listen to it in different
I
environments.
just
You gotta
like
go through all of
I
that.
just
but
like making the tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
do like doing the mixes quite a bit, but like some of that stuff just gets so tedious to me, and I guess it would be nice to have something there to just
Sure, and this is
whip
why
'em out.
like professional working artists have understudies
Send it
and
off.
Yeah.
interns to do most of the work
What's up,
for them.
Chelsea?
You lay it down like you want it, and then you get your team to come in there behind you and do it.
yeah,
I mean,
I think I used it on like 1 or 2 tracks a while back, but I didn't use it again. I should look back into it because I'm like you, man, where I love making the tracks.
Yeah.
And the mastering part's been nice, like learning it, but it's the most tedious part, like freezing them, or even if like Sanford like bouncing them all out and then putting them back in. It's a whole. It's not the creative part. It's the
But
technical.
I'm
part,
big
so.
on method and procedure.
Yeah.
In all things creative I do, it's part of it. You got to build in steps, regardless of how you do it.
I think that there's
Yeah.
a lot of like musicians, if they're not using something like that, though, are sending, once it gets mixed, are sending it off to be mastered by a person whose entire job is just to master things also, though. So it's not like a lot of the people that we listen to are doing all of that themselves, because there are tons of they're just expensive
Yeah.
places to
Yeah.
go,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
send
Yeah.
your music off to do
I know
it.
that's been like the main thing in holding me back from getting a lot of my stuff mixed and mastered is just the cost. And it's like, man, I don't want to spend $100 per song. you
Yeah,
know,
per
because-
Yeah.
minimum
don't-
100.
yeah.
Like,
Hey, send me some. I
Some
want
of
to play
those.
with
Yeah,
it.
I think
I'm
so.
getting pretty good. I feel like I got
Sure.
what it takes.
Like,
so I will do that for you. Glad-
Also, I have
Anybody,
Lander
anybody,
guys
send me some tracks. I'll master it.
my way. I can definitely. It takes 3 minutes.
There's our mastering engineer
Nice.
right there.
There we go.
Who masters your tracks? Labrie. What's he use? I don't know, but everything comes
I mean,
out.
that's my favorite kind of genius is ultimate lazy genius.
Yeah, work
Where-
smarter, not harder.
I think lazy is a terrible word to say
Yeah.
for people who are actually very smart. Because you figure out the quickest and easiest way to solve a problem.
Yeah.
And if that's it. That's it. That's
The
right.
robots worked you out of a job.
Great.
Oh,
actually
no.
got
They were
a-
designed
That's
to
why
do that
Blockbuster
job.
closed down.
I got
Yes.
a program called Ozone recently because it was on sale. Not the full thing, but like a cheaper version of it, and it's
Sale
a
version.
mastering kind of sweet thing, and it
Nice.
has like an assistant so that it'll say play the largest part of your track, or like play this part, and you hit the button and it kind of gives you a starting point to do the mastering from, and like
Interesting.
puts some things on,
Nice.
and it's like here's some suggestions.
Yeah, because that
So
can.
it's kind of like that
an
within
assistant.
that. But
Because especially like when you're sampling, like certain samples can be a lot louder than the next thing you're going to sample, and so you have to put those into different channels basically and adjust those sounds so that the sample sounds straight across all the way the same sound.
True.
One thing
So-
that's cool about Lander, say you're dropping an album, I find it's really hard when you're doing it yourself to get all the levels on the album the same.
Mm-hmm.
It'll mix your whole album for you and kind of do
Because
that for you.
that's one thing that I'll do is like I'll make a bunch of tracks, get a beat tape going, and then I'll play it live, and then every one of the songs is like drastically different in volume.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I mean, I didn't learn about that until like a couple of years ago.
Well, so one thing I do to counter that in the production process is like I set parameters to pretty specific numbers across the board, including gains.
Yeah.
So I stick to like I don't know. I'm strange. You all know this. I pick
Strange
like
biz?
threes,
Strange
sevens,
biz.
and 12s, and I'll kind of move in those numbers. So like even setting parameter changes in Ableton to like reverb, it'll be 33.3% because I just hit three times. Like I'm obsessive
Nice.
like that, but that also keeps things consistent. So having a consistent mode in which you approach the numbers at which you're dealing with in these programs,
Yeah.
that helps keep the music consistent. So you always know like I'm hitting this to here, it's 12, or
Yeah.
this to there, it's -3, whatever it is. If you find those consistent notes to hit in the production process, that keeps it pretty level across the board.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm liking that.
Yeah.
Now, Gabby, like
Think about the numbers.
Yeah, doing a lot of social media stuff. We're talking Lander and these little shortcuts. What have
Yeah.
you found now that you've like really been doing a lot
Oh, man.
of the social media stuff and just the YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff? Have you found any kind of like shortcuts or anything that help to make the process easier?
There's a lot of shortcuts when I make y'all's videos. Just like keyboard shortcuts.
Okay.
So that like makes the video and like as I've been doing it, I've been learning more of the shortcuts, and it's
Those
like
quick keys.
Maximizing the use of
been
your tools.
a lot quicker making videos. That's why I literally dropped like 3 of them the other day.
And how do you choose?
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I got this.
How do you
Left
choose the
hand
shots?
only, killing it.
Because like
Ooh.
one thing that I really like is the different angles that you choose and the fades and everything. It's a good, it's well done. And so how do
Definitely.
how do you work that out and with the
man.
artisticness of it and chopping and editing all the
yeah.
footage?
It just like when I'm shooting there, like at whatever event we're playing, it's just like, okay, well, what looks good? Where's the lighting coming in? What's behind y'all, like background? Because if there's stuff in the background, I might want to shoot from a different angle. Yeah, just simple stuff like that. It's not super like in-depth thought, but yeah.
I guess
There
for like creative shortcuts, in terms of like design, I mean, we do pretty heavily rely on like Canva and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Canva.
I use it
Yeah,
too for
so-
album art.
Yeah.
Canva has definitely
I saw you
helped
doing that
me
one
in
day. I was
my-
like,
I mean, it makes
My
it
laziness.
accessible for people that don't know, really intense programs like Photoshop.
There's so much to know in there. There's so
Yeah,
many,
for
so many
real.
tools and
There's too
methods.
much.
And how do you start?
Canva's
It's very
extremely
overwhelming.
dumbed down, which I think is good because
Great.
it gets people like thinking in the
Simplest
right.
forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people, talk crud about, using these kind of
simple
cop-out
apps.
programs.
Yeah.
I feel like is what they think it is.
Well, you gotta
Yeah,
if you're gonna talk that kind of mess about those simple tools accessible to all, you gotta really show up with the stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
In
You have
to be-
dedicated
yeah.
mode. Like,
For
You need to be
better
the
making
chosen
some
one
Yeah.
in
incredible-
Photoshop.
incredible
Yeah.
fliers for a Sunday brunch.
Definitely.
Like,
Yeah.
The
that stuff's gotta
Neo.
shine bright,
the
or you gotta
Neo.
shut
The-
up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Neo of it. Now, Lofty, you were the first person that I really knew that had over 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Hey.
And yeah, you really were. This was like 3 years
His
ago.
mom's only got 973.
Dang.
Right?
Oh,
No,
man.
she's got more than me.
I thought
now.
she had like 1,600. I thought I saw like your mom started following us, and I clicked. I was like, "Yo, mom is killing it."
She out
not
here
Jenny,
killing
your
the
mom.
game. Shout
No,
out.
not mine. No, not
Jenny's
mine. I
wildly
thought,
popular.
Yeah, no.
I love
Shout
her
out to
content.
Jenny.
Exactly. Yeah, she's
she's on there. I gotta
fresh
follow her.
foods and all that stuff. But like,
Coolest lady ever.
you always said there was like a formula. Like there were
Shouts out to
times to
Jenny
post
Peterson.
where you would get the most hits.
Yeah.
So like,
It's really inconvenient, but the most successful time for posting that I've noticed is at 2 a.m. Now,
Really?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, because that's
Why?
when the most Instagram users are active, searching, hashtags and all that, interacting with other users.
God, I wonder what they're doing.
I don't
for
know.
an
Yeah.
hour, what they're looking
I'm
at. I know what I
asleep.
look at on Instagram.
Yeah,
And I bet it's dark
like-
at 2 a.m.
yeah.
beats and
So pretty much.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There it is. Sorry, Mercy.
The cheese drop has happened.
Oh, no.
The cheese drop.
Larry
has
don't
gone
like you,
down.
Mercy. I'm
We out
sorry.
here talking about cheese already.
Yeah.
He
Well,
just told me he
Ian
don't
won't.
like you.
Ian won't leave now because we brought up cheese. All right,
Dude,
Ian-
shout out to cheese.
Yeah, Ian's.
Yeah.
Ian,
Even though I'm lactose intolerant,
Yeah.
Ian's
still gonna eat it.
Stick to white cheeses. They have less lactose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had some pepper jack on my sandwich earlier. It was good.
Oh,
I love me some
Made some
feta though.
Tuna salad.
See, I told you it was
There
gonna
we
happen,
go.
dude. Like,
Oh, here we
he's
are.
surrounded by us.
I mean, Labrie.
That's what was
is
so-
gonna
that
be
was-
cheese. You know,
that was-
it's in the name.
I gotta, whoever.
Yeah.
I think that was you who said it was beautiful.
Yep. But
And-
great minds think alike.
So well done. Now, we played that show at Harvest House last week, and I don't know if y'all noticed what a rousing. You were in Houston doing seeing some beautiful show.
I was.
But our boy YSA here got a rousing applause.
Ooh.
From he was huge, and
Why am I hearing about this on the radio?
I don't know, but so YSA combining the DJing and the guitar, but now you're bringing out the original beats a lot more often.
Yeah.
And so how have you worked on combining your set, but with the music that you've been playing, but then bringing in those originals and also combining the guitar with that?
Probably BDE.
I don't know what that means, but
Yeah, I don't either.
Listeners at home, they'll figure it out.
yeah.
Wait till he stands up.
I don't know. I just kind of had the way too late in the game revelation. Like, I'm playing guitar through the computer. Why am I just making it sound like a guitar all the time? I can make it sound like whatever I want and use it as more of like, instead of a little mealy solo thing over electronic music, just make it a important element in the songs that I'm making. And that's kind of more fun for me to play anyway, and easier for me to make music, electronic music even like that, because guitar is just such a home base for me in writing stuff. And then once I was making more stuff with guitar that I liked, I was like, well, I want to play more of my own stuff more,
Yeah.
because everybody else is playing all their own stuff more and everything too. So I don't want to just be a DJ guy. If I'm making music, why am I not putting it out and playing it all the time? Kind of
Definitely.
like when you're saying I'm putting something out every Sunday because I'm making it.
Yeah.
So
True.
And
yeah.
like
kind of got a list together of all the things that I was willing to play and figured out a set to play through it, and then have just been, I don't know, depending on the situation, doing that, or just putting more of the stuff in live, or making sure that I at least end with a section of all my like newer guitar stuff to draw together and something like that. So
do you think like Debutante Brawl you'll ever like do some more like kind of electronic production and like implement it into them into
Change
songs?
their minds.
I don't think their minds need to be changed that much. I think that's possible. I guess they used to do goofy intros and stuff.
Like, we're not going to be Linkin Park.
but-
Ian.
Well, you got bands like Between the Buried and Me and like the Faceless.
Yeah, I
that
don't
do,
think they're against it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
electronic
think they thought that
kinda-
that was a cool idea in
Even-
the beginning. It just hasn't really come to fruition yet. But it's
That trap
definitely
song you
possible.
guys made
I was
was
introduced
dope.
to Mr. Bungle yesterday.
Mr. Bungle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
Uh,
Mr. Bungle.
Yeah, I know
Alex
Mr.
played me
Bungle.
some, and it was just like
It's
weird, circusy, rocky. It's a whole situation, but
Yeah.
I
What's the
feel like
guy's name? don't know.
Mike Patton.
Mike Patton. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Mike Patton joint.
Buckethead was kind of like the first person I ever saw where it was like he was just by himself, just wailing, and then he had like beats playing behind all the everything else was
Oh,
behind him,
yeah.
and his guitar is
Just by
crazy.
himself.
It has like all these buttons on it that do different things, and
Thousand
then he
strings.
then he does a nunchuck performance, which is pretty sweet
Yeah,
right in the
he's
middle
a-
of
That
it.
sounds wild.
He's
That
a
sounds
strange
right.
man.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
called Buckethead because he wears a KFC bucket on his
Oh, yeah.
head.
He does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
he
He's
comes
just got
out,
like
he's got
a white
mask.
mask
Yeah.
and real long
Had
hair.
no
yeah.
idea.
No frills.
Yeah, it's pretty
Just
interesting.
virtuosity.
Virtuosity
and
and a bucket on his head.
Implied.
I want to give a shout out
That's who he
to,
is.
to Gabby's
Oh my
mom tuning in.
goodness.
It's always
Shout
cool.
out to my mom.
Always cool when the
What's
moms.
up,
Shout out to
Gabby
Chelsea.
mom?
The coolest lady of all time.
of
She's
course.
really cool, y'all.
We've got Lofty here now. Lofty, it wasn't, what was it, 3 months ago? Maybe you dropped your the what was it, Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3.
All right, man. So what was
Before the game came out,
what was
too.
the inspiration for that for the people who don't know?
I don't know. Like, I just kind of grew up playing the Kingdom Hearts series. I thought we'd never get Kingdom Hearts 3. And there was just this kind of sense of longing, in my heart that I wanted
Definitely.
the game to finally come out.
If
And
Square won't do it, I will.
there's just kind of a dull sadness, in my heart that, this thing never really came to fruition. I never got the closure that I wanted. And now here it was. They announced that the game was coming out this year.
So what is Kingdom Hearts? Like, is it like I don't like?
Mikey.
I know I'm lost here. Like, because
That's
I feel
right.
like there's like a Donald Duck in
Dude,
there's
there
Donald
is.
Duck.
He's in
Duck
there.
is in
But
there.
also
So-
everybody is.
But
in
what
there.
is it like? What is
It's an
this?
Everybody's
amalgamation
in
of Disney characters
Yeah.
and Square Enix and Final Fantasy characters, essentially.
Oh.
Pretty much
Yeah.
Final Fantasy exclusively. And this weird crossover nexus they
It's awesome.
Yeah.
My
pretty much.
actual childhood.
And so is it like Final Fantasy, like where you travel
Yeah.
through the worlds in a
Yeah.
way?
Yeah,
and,
you
like-
Yeah.
meet familiar characters in familiar places. You mostly go to Disney locales.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it's
And
like
it's themed to that.
yeah.
Donald and Goofy follow you as your party
Halloween
members.
Town in there at some point.
yeah,
Yes.
the
Oh,
first
you
two
gotta
ones.
love-
Halloween was, yeah,
you gotta
that was
love
the coolest
Halloween.
outfit for Sora.
Definitely.
You gotta love
That
Halloween.
was a good
Yes.
look.
Halloween Town was cool.
Yeah.
You know, that was I think that was a movie too. It was a good
So
movie.
yeah, pretty much.
Different one, but yeah.
Oh, it was. It's totally
Nightmare
different.
Before Christmas.
Is Jack in there? I mean,
Jack,
Yeah,
he's,
yeah,
he's
definitely.
the man. Yeah.
Mhm. I showed my dad this ultrasound the other day of the baby like opening its mouth real
Aw.
big, and he was like,
Oh,
"It looks
wow.
like that doctor from the Nightmare Before Christmas." Like, and I was like, "How are you gonna
Duck
pull? How are you gonna pull that reference out,
Yeah.
Dad? Like the movie came out 25 years ago, I
He's
think.
gonna
and
roast your
just
daughter.
roast my daughter. Yeah, this is your,
Beetlejuice.
this is your grandchild, Dad. Yeah,
She
yeah,
can't
yeah.
even defend herself.
Yeah,
yet.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I'll let her know when she's
Ruthless.
old enough to understand words.
She'll come out knowing. She'll
Yeah,
give,
she'll
she'll give
be
him
like,
Yeah.
a sideways glance always.
I heard.
Exactly.
I heard that.
heard you
Grandpa.
talking that mess in the womb.
I heard
man.
that. And so now, Sanford, you put out 33-Year-Old Boy,
I did.
which we did
Yay.
talk about, but
did.
the album did well across all sorts of streaming.
It's okay. It's still like it's 5.5 feet underground.
Okay,
So-
but we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. It's coming out from the underground to the mainland.
There have
But-
been people, mostly my parents, who have been listening to it.
Well,
Shit,
you know,
Mercy's dad loves it.
Yeah.
That makes me
That's
really happy. I want to
awesome.
meet him. 'Cause, you
Aw.
gotta meet fans.
and
Uh,
for all of us, like when I would listen to it in the car, it's one of those experiential albums where it's like you can
Yeah.
listen to it and it takes you through this journey all the way through. Was that something that like you planned to happen?
absolutely.
Okay.
And it was funny too. I have all sorts of ideas, and some of them I write down. And I was actually looking at the dates of the song files in Ableton. I realized you could set by date created. You could pull that
Yeah.
up. I didn't know. I always wanted that. Never knew. I
That's
just
okay. I'm gonna need to
is
do that too
there?
now.
There it
Yeah.
was. So I did it. And I looked at all my song files in Ableton. I was looking especially at the all the songs that made it to the album and see when they were
Uh-huh.
created. And it was like I would do 2 or 3 in a 2-week period, and then a month later do 2 or 3 in a 2-week period, and a month later do. So it was funny to see how it grew. But I had gone back through a journal after it was done, mixed, mastered out there, and I found an entry talking about the kind of music I wanted to make, and it pretty much described exactly how the album turned out, at least for me, as far as being that kind of experiential, atmospheric, weird little beat journey that it is. But I don't think I was thinking about that as it came forward, because there was so much time between when the songs were being written and when the album actually came out. So, like 8 months total. I think track for track, 8 months.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just funny that those ideas stay in the back of your head, and then they, you hope your art exemplifies the ideas.
For
about
sure.
it. And there it was. It was good.
And I mean, it's always like I remember like what character had to say about it. There were a lot of people who you respect
He's very happy about it.
who were like, "Wow, this is really well
Katie
done."
Easley was doing yoga to it for weeks.
Well,
Nice.
remember when
That's
we
awesome.
I've
remember
done
when
yoga
we
too,
played
it's
it?
pretty good.
Remember when we played it up at Armadillo, and
Oh,
they were
that
like,
was-
"Can?" And you were like, "Let's
was
just
so
wait
fun.
for someone to complain," and
Is the
And
album?
so,
it's
Someone
Uh,
wants you
5
to stand in the shot.
stand by the yellow guitar so we can see you.
Yeah.
one.
Come over here.
Hello.
And hold on.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, there
duh.
he is.
Okay, I was
All
like,
right, the beautiful boys back
Yay.
there.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so I put the music on because I love it, and what was so funny is right after I put it on, you're like, I can't wait for someone to complain.
Like I was
And,
saying, it's like 4.5 whole minutes before a drum sound. The intro is like 3.5 minutes. It's like 3 minutes 33
Yeah.
seconds, and then the second song, the first song beyond the intro is "Rain Drips Slowly into Your House." Rain drips slowly.
Yeah.
The song drips slowly in your ears too. So it's
Yeah.
like, you get some like a tiny bit of percussion in the background for a
Yeah.
moment, and then it finally drops in.
You
But
feel
you've
like-
already got like 4.5 minutes.
You
which-
feel like some yogi is gonna lull you into a different dimension.
Oh, man.
Come up and
That's,
just
that's what I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
send you away, dude.
And yeah, sure enough, I think like halfway into that song, Rain Drip Slowly Into Your House, Tiffany Johnson came up and was like, what'd she say?
She was like, I'm about to fall asleep.
Well, she was talking about doing pretty much corpse pose, but she used the proper term for it. Where, for you who do not practice yoga, corpse pose is where you lay down on your back and don't do anything. My personal favorite. It's actually if you let your whole body melt while you lay on the floor. It's
Nice.
wonderful. Try it.
Yeah.
Definitely try it.
Yeah,
but
just-
yeah, she was
just
pretty much
melt.
like, I feel
It's
like
my
doing a
favorite
corpse
one.
pose right now. It's like, well, that's cool. I don't know if that's the kind of reaction you want out of your music generally.
Yeah,
It's
but
like, I want to feel like I'm dead. Not the idea I had coming into the album. But, you know, it's great to inspire.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just,
man.
just an honor to inspire. man.
I'm glad you got something out of it.
Yeah, that's something else, man. That's something else.
That's pretty transcendental.
Yeah.
I think is the word I would use to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's generous,
awesome,
thank
man.
you.
Yeah, I enjoy it, man. So, Labrie, you came out with Honey Baked Beats as well.
Yeah.
And so you put that out there. And so what was kind
They
of
were
your
delicious.
and the other thing that I have to mention is that I always love that your album artwork is like original of some sort. You know, it always seems like it's either you or Amanda who are taking those photos.
Yeah.
And I want you to once again recap the Honey Baked Ham cover.
Okay. Yeah. So, like you say, Amanda, my girlfriend, is an amazing photographer, and she does events
Big
and stuff.
facts.
Hardworking,
But-
dedicated, motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I always like to get her help, so we were talking about the album, and basically I made these 5 tracks because I thought you guys were all gonna make Christmas tracks.
Aw.
It's like when you're standing in line and then they're like, hey, who wants to do this? And everybody else stands back, and you're just like,
Oh, crud.
oh crap, they
Yeah.
got me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Very
I
hardworking, dedicated, motivated.
Yeah.
dropped these little 5 tracks. Needed some album artwork. I had some potpourri and some Christmas stuff laying around the crib.
Just some potpourri laying around.
Yeah.
And
Showing.
we got this weird mirror that we picked up and put my little machine micro in there and got Amanda to pose with it, and we presented it
perfect.
as
As Honey Baked Beats.
honey baked beats.
Yeah.
Nice.
There we
dude.
go.
Yeah.
Like it came right out of the oven.
Yeah.
And,
Just freshly.
What is you still
Fresh,
play
still
one of
steaming.
you play one of them, man. What is there is one of those mixes that I can't remember in my head right now. Was it like Frank Sinatra? What did you?
Oh, there's Nat King Cole.
Yeah, okay, thank you. My bad. It's not,
chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
yes, that was the one I was thinking of.
It's like one of my favorite songs. I listen to that like on a Tuesday. It's like not even Christmas.
Yeah, in July.
Windows open, AC off.
Stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On 35, just
Oh, man.
just relax.
No, that song's
Yeah.
a bop. That song's a bop for sure.
Yeah.
Chestnuts
like-
on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, chestnuts on a
Ridiculous,
Tuesday.
but I'm
man.
into
Yeah, but, well, Nat King Cole was one of a kind too, man. Like,
It's a classic man. If
yeah,
you will.
yeah,
Unforgettable.
definitely.
Yeah.
Unforgettable. Like Nat
Definitely.
King Cole.
That is what he is.
Did he sing that?
Yeah.
no. that's-
Unforgettable.
Yeah.
Was that Nat King Cole?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But I was.
So, I mean-
just-
We thought you were doing that.
Wow,
We
that
thought you
was-
were doing a thing.
No, I'm dumb because Gucci Mane said that in the song "Unforgettable."
Yeah.
Like Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
And I
Just
just
get a
got
second hand. That's all.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you that. Yeah,
love
I
it.
didn't catch either reference.
Oh, no.
Like I'll
Yeah.
admit that we can
we
toss my
go.
opinions to the wind.
There's
right
a really
there.
good Nat King Cole documentary on Netflix. I know you like
It is.
those.
I watched it. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah,
Learn anything?
yeah. I mean, like I learned about him and about like all of the like the
I
way
think it's
that
called Unforgettable.
Oh, okay.
I forgot.
I'll have to watch.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it.
So
Sorry,
I guess
Nat.
it's
I got
not
that's
as
my bad, Nat.
unforgettable as they thought.
Got to go back and watch that one again. I was watching a lot of documentaries. It was like
No, I
James
know.
Brown and
That
Nat
was a good
King
one.
Cole and Frank Sinatra, and then the
Quincy.
Thank you. Yeah, the Quincy one, all back to
Yeah.
back to back to back.
You were telling me.
Shout
I
out
watched.
Quincy.
I watched James Brown and Quincy
Yeah.
on your recommendation.
They
were
dropped
wonderful.
all of those like right away, and I was just like, okay, I gotta watch all of this stuff. So, hey, fellas, smart guys,
Friends.
good
Hi,
friends.
friends.
Those are good people right there.
They are.
Now, I want to go back a little bit further, and we'll talk about Ian when he released the Akira.
Yeah.
When you put all of that cool stuff out.
That was a year ago now, huh?
Dang.
That's
Anniversary.
crazy to think. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cute.
And so you actually had a guy like write about it from UTA. Like,
Who?
I thought he like wrote something on it.
There
or-
was
Happy Press, apparently.
Do I know them?
No, I got an email about like cataloging it in some Dallas or Texas music archive thing.
Is it
Limit?
About sending it the
Is it
sitting in the
Limit?
file or something.
This one?
I
Local and Independent Music Initiative of Texas?
Fancy.
I don't remember.
Okay, fair enough.
It'd be like
Sanford
that
reads it every day.
sometimes.
I didn't know. If I couldn't
what they
look
do.
it up if this.
I read the
don't
limit
know.
papers every day.
Um,
So, like, you know, we talked about that a while ago, but what kind of got you in the mindset of making something revolved around that? Because that, once again, just like 33-Year-Old Boy, Honey Baked Beats, Kingdom Hearts, these are all kind of like these concept albums where they kind of have these ideas behind them. And so, how did you decide this is what I'm going to do right here?
I don't know. I just really like Akira, and
What was
just, I don't know.
Bushunin Beats, right?
Oh yeah. Okay,
we
so
did the
that
first
was
one in
very
February.
coincided
one.
with the first one of those. Okay,
Yeah. So you
all right,
started
that's
writing
what it started.
for that then, is that right?
Yeah. Okay, that is how that happened. Then.
So you made it for the Christmas
Thank you
thing.
for
you
providing
did
my
for-
memory for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Because I don't have it.
Unforgettable.
Yeah, so we were gonna do the first Bishonen Beats and do
Mm-hmm.
the anime show, and I was like, well, I mean, I've thought about like, I really like the music in that movie and think it's a really interesting soundtrack, and so I've thought about making stuff out of it before, and then just kind of decided to actually do it and ran with it pretty much.
Did YouTube get mad at you real quick or something like that? Like there was one streaming service. Was
Oh
like,
yeah,
this
they.
is
I
a-
mean, yeah, they took it down.
Did you
real
put it
big.
up on SoundCloud?
Yeah, it's fine.
Because
there.
they should let. I think
I think it's
SoundCloud
fine
has
on.
decided they
I
weren't
think
going to do
audio
that anymore.
streaming services. It's been fine, and I'm gonna try it with some more soon. But because I also
I don't know that
made.
guy.
I don't either. I just wave
He was
at
just
everyone.
friendly.
Yeah, he was smiling.
He was
though.
curious.
He was
Yeah.
really nice.
I think it was because I also made like a cut video out of Akira to go with it as like a one piece long
That visual
thing.
was dope.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
That's why the video places got mad at it because they were like, "This
Ah.
is very
Yeah, I think-
copywritten. You cannot do this.
That makes me wonder.
You're not allowed to do this at all."
That makes me wonder if streaming services are looking for like recorded music and not necessarily for specific like from movies.
Yeah.
So like, recorded music that they know is documented and stored, but not like samples.
Because that's what I'm wondering
I don't
now too. Because like my stuff is on Spotify, but when I play my stuff on our live streams, we don't get a thing from Facebook saying this
Yeah.
doesn't belong to you. So I'm wondering like, because technically it's distributed through DistroKid, so DistroKid
Right.
has the rights to it, as well as I do, like the creative rights. But like, so I always wonder like how those or how it works. Like what how do you build into a song's formula or whatever that hey this doesn't belong to this only belongs to this person? Because I'm wondering like let's say if somebody like if Anderson .Paak was doing a DJ set at DentonRadio.com and he drops his own music, is Facebook going to go, this doesn't belong to you? And he's like, I am
The man.
Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I really
Yeah.
feel like that would happen.
Yeah. It's happened before. There was a guy who posted a thing on YouTube showing that he recorded a track, put it up, and then somebody downloaded it, took it, and then turned it into their own. And when they uploaded it, YouTube pulled his track down, saying that he had copyrighted this other person.
Oh no.
So he got in contact with the other person. It was no big deal. He was like, I know you probably didn't mean to do this or anything like that. But then eventually, like, it took a while, though, of him talking to different people and a way of, he was like, it was very difficult to prove to YouTube that this is mine. Like, I created this, not this person,
I feel like
Not
I've
this other
been
individual.
silenced on
Hey,
on Facebook.
do we know that guy?
No, I don't know
Just
any of these
nice
people.
walking
Yeah, there's some
by.
nice people
But
walking
Just
today.
a whole big squad.
I feel like I've been silenced on Facebook during our live streams at Breakfast with Beats, playing my own material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was coming through, not me. But they also don't have a way to know that because, like, so you present the Anderson
Yeah,
.Paak
you're just
problem.
on
It's like, but
Bandcamp.
that happened to me. I'm just, I'm nobody, so they think that I'm playing. But they care enough that they're protecting
Yeah.
but not they're protecting me from me, and that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Or even
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when we did our first ever live
don't know what they're
stream.
doing.
We did our first ever
Because
live stream from
yeah.
your place, and you played the Cool Kids, and it
Oh,
cut it out. But
yeah.
then when
Yeah.
you slowed it down barely, all of a sudden it was like, oh, now we're
Yeah.
cool.
They
That's
became
okay. Yeah.
they became the very thing they sought to destroy.
Exactly.
I don't know if that worked or not. felt like the right thing to
Sounded
say.
good, yeah.
Lofty's just dropping knowledge in here. Yeah, that's
holding on
I'm
to that
curious
one
to
for a
see
minute.
where
Just wait.
as streaming grows, because even SoundCloud, they had to kind of change the rules where they're like, we're no longer going to take down mixes. Like they were taking down mixes if you had music in it that wasn't yours, but they had to they decided, I think it was probably a business decision,
Yeah.
like we're not going to do that anymore.
They also did a very clever thing by limiting how many minutes you can upload. So DJs
Yeah.
couldn't upload more than probably 3 mixes. I think it was 3 hours for a regular account without
Yeah.
paying. So if you were paying in, you get 6 hours or whatever. But if you're not, you get 3 mixes, and it better be from this week, or nobody's gonna listen to it.
Yeah, exactly.
But then there's Mixcloud, but who wants to go like on Mixcloud?
I've been trying to want to use Mixcloud for like 10 years. And I still hold out hope that
It's-
I'm gonna find like cool stuff that I want to listen to on there, and I just never
The
do.
same.
It needs to follow the platform.
same with like
but
Reverb Nation. It's like
Oh,
this is
yeah.
like the great value version of SoundCloud.
How dare you?
Mixcloud is like a Winco to a
Hey,
Walmart,
I love
though.
Winco.
Yeah.
It
And then-
is. I
and
think
then-
it's
and
just
then-
like this independent thing that's been operating and doing fine without being well known.
And
Yeah.
then Mercy all of a sudden brings up Audio Mac. And I was like, what? And Dalton was like, I only use that to pirate stuff. Like, that was the only reason. And I was like, what's Audio Mac? He's like, it's the new SoundCloud. And I was like, it sounds like Dalton was using this a while ago.
Like the new SoundCloud version 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop
Like a bunch
my
of
new
attempts.
beat tape exclusively on Napster.
Yeah.
There
You
you
know
go,
it
bro.
still
Yeah.
exists?
It does. My dad uses it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
had to,
My dad did for a while.
My dad
we had
still got Napster.
we
That's
had to
wild.
we had to check it out.
MySpace. We started some on MySpace page just for
We should.
We could.
I'll look into it.
I thought
honestly.
MySpace
Yeah.
MySpace sold for like
Yeah,
Does
they,
it still-
they redesigned it, I
billion
think.
They have-
Oh, many years ago. They tried to make it the place for music.
I was thinking about it the other day.
Didn't
Somebody
work.
said that they
Most pages
they
got
sold
killed.
it. It was purchased by a large company, and then that large company who purchased it sold it, and then it just went away apparently. But it was
still there.
it started as like made for music, which was like a very different thing from what Facebook was started for as well. And by the way, I want to give a quick shout out. We're actually now listening to the Dead Gorgeous Musings Volume 3.
Word, I was
which
listening
is
to
got,
the other day.
yeah, which has got a couple of our boys, Daily Breed and Mercy or Mercy, however you put it. I found it and I actually can hear
That's my
it. Sue
grandma.
Peterson.
That's my grandma right
Yes.
there. Hey, grandma.
Hey, Grandma.
Yes. Lofty's been in the studio. This is what, maybe your 4th time?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I think
because
so.
one time he was here when I had to go stop a fight amongst some
Oh
folks
my.
in the
Some
lobby.
vagabonds.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you started
Yeah.
Snapchatting it.
Did you guys turn the cameras around?
No. So what's great about it
PG
is
only.
I'm sitting here and I'm talking to Lofty, and all of a sudden some stuff starts going on out there, and then like mid sentence I just
Oh,
throw the
no.
headphones off. I sprint out, and Lofty, without a thing, just gets out the phone. He's like
World
snapping
star.
it, yeah. And he's laughing, and all of a sudden,
Dang.
all you see is just Lofty sitting there going like, "Oh," like, and I'm
Yeah,
just out
hands
there.
were flying.
It was wild. That was just-
expletives were said.
Somebody
yeah.
broke somebody's guitar string, and the
Dang.
two guys
Oh.
were.
It was
were
it
out
was
of it
like
about
it was some crust punks.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. So, Labrie, what I think we should do too is, you and I made a couple tracks here.
Yeah.
So I'll send those to you for mastering.
Yeah.
Since
I'll
you're now,
master the-
yeah,
There we go.
I'll master those.
3 minutes. I want that track
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
you know?
bro. 3 minutes.
Now I want to talk about what you guys did a couple weeks ago. You guys got together, and who else was there?
Mercy.
Mercy.
I was.
And
So
Gabby.
Mercy
But I
and
don't-
Gabby.
yeah.
Gabby was sharing vibes.
I was just chilling.
So
yeah.
what was Labrie's talked about this for a long time of everybody getting together, all sitting in a room, everybody
Mm-hmm.
plugging in and doing their thing. How did you guys kind of get that all when you guys sat down? How did you kind of start to get it organized and say where are we going to go?
Oh,
Yeah,
Luke,
Go ahead.
Luke laid down a couple
Yeah.
chords, and that was the kind of hardest part, is kind of figuring out what the tempo was, where to start. But Luke laid down a couple chords, and from that, we were all kind of able to sync up. We were like, hey, what's the tempo? Synced
Mm-hmm.
up. Then 15 minutes later, we had like a banger.
Yeah,
like-
it was like in no time.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Everybody had their like
Hit factory.
when you and I were working together.
Yeah.
We had the problem that I didn't know how to use your software.
Yeah.
But Luke had his computer, Mercy had his computer,
Yeah.
I had my computer, and we were just like, oh, I know exactly how to do what I want to do.
What made it most easy was
Play your
that all three of us were plugged into his system, so we were all able to record our individual tracks, do the track outs into Labrie's computer.
Yeah.
So we had it in one consolidated place.
Nice. And now you asked me like maybe you could boost it, but now we got our mastering engineer right here. You
Yeah.
can look back
Yeah.
in the interview and
Yeah.
see how he does it so quickly.
We need 6 decibels of
Yeah,
headroom.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
shoot
6
that over to
decibels
you.
of headroom is the
Yeah.
magic number.
Yeah.
Now, Sanford, you have a very specific way of routing your drums. I feel like I've heard you talk about before. Can you talk about that right now?
So basically, like I play a little bit of drums, analog drums, you know, and I've been doing like MPC pad drumming for a bunch of years. So it was like trying to apply principles of these different instruments being instruments. You know, kick is a kick; it's an instrument, it's one thing. Snare is another thing. Yes, they're all a cohesive group, but it's a group of individual parts, right? So I try to treat them as such. So in Ableton, they have a module that it's called drum pad. It lines up to the 16 pad array that my controllers always have. And I lay them out how I would play them, and I don't quantize my drums. Don't quantize your drums, kids.
That's why mine sounds so lame.
Oh.
Swing. No, but I've actually figured out the swing function in Ableton. It's sounding a lot better. Remember, you had that comment. You were like, "Yo, this track's a lot better than it's not as so
It's
cut and
gotta
dry."
swing, man.
Like, oh, thanks, man.
But so I in Ableton, I set each individual instrument, kick, snare, hi-hat, and then supplementary drum instruments into one pad each, and then I usually like double up on kicks, so I'll have 2 different kicks moving. And I'll lay them out, and then I'll play them out on the pads, and then I'll affect each individual instrument by itself. So I'll EQ, compress, and saturate, and limit to the levels that I like,
Nice.
to where they sound good, and the sequence is good, and then I will then mix the kit as a whole to give it some like actual space. So panning instruments to where, from drummer's perspective, generally, because that's where I know to listen to drums.
Got your hi-hat on the left, got your cymbal on the
Hi-hats
right.
on the left. I'll try to keep.
know.
I'll do like kicks a little
Snare
left,
just
and I'll
sliding.
do like I do sliding kicks. So a lot of triplet kicks, and I'll do a soft velocity version and a hard velocity
That's
version.
one thing that
and I'll
I
have
did
them
steal
mixed
from
in different
Sanford.
stereo fields. So I'll have like the soft one hits further left, and then the hard one is center. You know, and then supplementary instruments, all of the stereo fields. So you get this whole percussive thing coming from what feels like a physical place.
Yeah. Definitely the softening of the one kick. I actually last night I used that exact technique. I was like, it feels a little empty in here, so I'm gonna soften, you know, and not have the double kick, but just have one of my kicks and then soften those, and it definitely adds some new flavor to the track.
That's
as
what
well.
you want.
If you got one kick that's going at the same velocity, same volume the entire time, it's just going to sound mechanical. But if you even just get 2 kicks going, just
Yeah.
one's a little different, then it's going to sound like actual human played it.
Yeah. And
I
that's-
mean, to some extent.
So I'm trying to bridge that gap because I am doing like human aided machine music. I'm putting a level of input
Good
into
album
it.
title.
Human-aided machine music. I like it.
That would be an awesome metal
I
band.
think you
Yeah.
need to like cut off
Human-aided
your
machine
arm
music.
and have like a robot cyborg arm.
We'll get you some Jax arms from
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
or a robot foot. Just get like a robot foot.
I don't know. I don't want to mar these incredible
You can
games.
keep the
Yeah.
calves.
just
You
one-
can keep
just
the
one
calves.
foot.
Yeah, you
just
gotta
the
keep
robot.
the calves. The
Just the
calves are
foot.
too amazing.
Not,
Yeah.
not any of the leg.
Yeah.
Just the foot.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Because everybody here kind of has like their own like kind of technique in something that they do, and so you know like something that I've always admired about Lofty was the 808s. You know, hitting the 808s. Labrie, I feel like Labrie has very crisp and clear like kind of sounds that come through. Ian's stuff is very creative and very different, and then the guitar that you add in there is just something that I love to observe. And then Gabby, you have an like. The reason I come to y'all is because you'll have more creative eyes than I do. Everybody here, you know, you have an idea of what not only yourself likes, but also what more people than just yourself are going to enjoy too, and have the ability to bring that all together. So while it maintains originality, it's still retrievable by kind of the layman. And even if somebody doesn't really know, you know, it's like, sure, like Breezomatic might not be great for the yoga, but then we've got somebody listening to 4 minutes of that ambient sound that has the perfect space for that moment. Somebody might not be driving to a Sunset to YSA, but all of a sudden you're in this, like at a Halloween show where everybody's dressed up gnarly and you're killing it.
Suddenly dark.
Dark. Yeah. And so it's like everybody kind of has their different ways of developing those crafts. That keeps me inspired and keeps me going. And so that's
why we crewed up.
Yeah. And so that's much of the team right there. Much of how we all make this work right here. So one thing before we close out the show here, because 45 minutes flies by real quick. True. And we got to get out of Ellie's way so she can get her guests in here as well. I want to kind of go through and just see what's cooking for each of you guys. What's something that maybe we don't know that you're working on, because we all see each other a lot. So Lofty, is there something that you've got going on that maybe the rest of us don't know a whole lot about yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've been slowing it way down, but I've been really kind of inspired by music like Mac DeMarco, like Home Shake and Infinite Bizu. And just these vibes that are like that of like a middle school dance floor, like slow jams going on, Nice. So I'm trying to like really bring the lights down.
I've noticed that y'all have been playing some R&B lately in sets. I like it.
It's been the vibe lately, man.
Definitely.
So what about you, Ian? You got some stuff going on?
Yeah, I'm putting like 5 songs out on a week from today.
Woo.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah,
today.
you've been putting out those videos. You actually
Night
filmed
EP.
the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is why we
to the punch.
Yeah, if you're
That
wondering
picture is
where
actually
was
like-
the show last week, there was a tornado, so the show didn't happen.
Oh no.
Yeah, and also that's the day before my birthday, so make it my present to go
Hey.
listen to
We've
all
also
of my
got,
music.
and we've got the live stream that's going to
Turning
be going on from the
41.
pizza truck.
Yeah.
The live
So Lofty's
stream.
going to be playing at Almost Famous Pizza that day as well. We'll be
You
doing
gonna play
a
in the
Something
truck?
Modern live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from inside
Really?
the truck.
Inside.
Oh, that's dope.
We're going to put
I
the
know.
PAs on the
Yeah.
outside.
While they're serving, or
Yeah.
They're going to be
Dope.
serving
It's
too.
gonna be
So
awesome.
Dope.
me and Brian have
Wash your
figured
hands,
out.
man.
Yeah, me and Brian have figured out the whole spot. And I was like, if you drip sauce on my boy's controller here, we'll be very upset
Yeah.
about it. The right kind of sauce is
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who's working in the truck?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure
Dope.
that out. Yeah. Okay, so Gabby, how about you? What?
Irene.
She's calling. We're on the air.
We're on
right
the
now.
air, Mom.
You know
guys
she's on the
look
radio.
so
Irene.
You can't call me right now.
You can. My dad called me once. I called him back. I was like, I'm on
Oh
the
my
radio right now. He's like,
goodness.
oh, okay. So, Gabby, do you have anything that you're working on that?
Oh
maybe-
man. I guess really just more videos and content, but also can I talk about the boat party?
Yeah.
All right, so we're planning a lake boat party in Lake Louisville. Very excited. It's in the works. It's coming out. You'll see it somewhere eventually. There will be invites. It'll be awesome.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm
gonna be
excited
very
for that.
fun.
So, and how about you, Sanford? What do we got going on? What's cooking?
I've been in the art studio a lot lately, running some experiments, and I got a bunch of ideas for moving forward on that.
Nice.
I'm gonna start working on a new collage series. Thematically tied in some way or another. It's coming. And I've been starting work a little bit on the tracks for Foliage Volume 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to hit for 4 seems unachievable. 2 sounds good, so I'm gonna have at least 2 really good pieces of gold.
Labrie sent me
Nice.
one, and then JK threw 4 at me last night.
Dope.
That kid's
Wow.
got a
4 was
lot.
that number is like that'd be real
Nice.
dope.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But I don't know if I believe in myself like that. We'll see.
I believe in you.
I'm going
We
1 or
believe in you.
2, and on the second one, I'm collabing with Mercy, and I'm only gonna
Yeah.
do
Nice.
drums, and then I'm gonna have Mercy replace the drums with his drums. Still put my name next to it. Be like, I gave him the idea.
It's like 'cause I've done a couple tracks that after the album that I think are really good, and I think they're tied in each other kind of in flavor, and I'd like to continue that flavor because it's busy and beautiful. I think
It's a
Nice.
vibe.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a busy, beautiful vibe, and I like to kind of pull that out a little bit more. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And Labrie, you've been busy already putting out music every Sunday, but are you gonna continue this? Like, are we gonna be
Yeah.
2 years from now?
Oh, I'm
Like-
motivated. I'm right behind you, man.
I got so many tracks in the backlog. I'm just gonna keep it going. I figure a
Nice.
week gives me time to make new stuff, or I can still just keep posting old stuff
Yeah, man.
and just trying to learn. Like I learn how to do more stuff because just watching
Do
you guys,
more
I'd be mad. Like, oh man, doing all this stuff up there? I want to do stuff.
It's all
I'm
it's
trying
all
to
alive.
be cool.
Just
last Sunday at Backyard, I felt like you were dissecting my whole set.
I was looking at everything.
just-
Like, how do you do all this
Nice.
stuff, man?
He was trying to leave for like an hour, and just I kept drawing him back with
Yeah, I
the
was like,
music.
yeah.
happens.
it's all theatrics. I just hit play and
Yeah.
do nothing.
Yeah.
Man.
I want to learn how to do some stuff up there.
turning knobs, man. Just turning
Mikey, what
knobs.
is cooking on your end of the table?
Yeah.
Other than babies.
So yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, true,
So I'll be a
but-
dad
Baby's
soon,
cooking.
so that's coming up.
Baby's
but
cooking.
I just got my artwork back from Cale Kirkpatrick, who's the guy who I wrote the little article about
Nice.
him, Beatmaker Kells. He's also a graphic designer and goes to school up in Oklahoma at some smaller school. And so I sent him kind of my idea for what I wanted, and he sent it back to me, and it looks cool. So
Nice.
I've gotten that artwork back. I just need to send him like a PNG or whatever it's called so he can
Yeah.
implant it on there. And then I'll be ready to release Music to Cuddle 2 Volume 4. So that'll be sweet.
So much cuddles.
Yeah, so much. And I went back and forth a lot on trying to decide if I wanted to kind of go back to the very first Music to Cuddle 2, which was a lot more, there wasn't a lot of funk on that album at
Yeah.
all. There wasn't a lot of sampled stuff. And so I kind of decided that I wanted to go back to that realm where it was a lot, where I didn't put a lot of my funk stuff or the summer vibes. I wanted to really maintain that feel. Something wild going on.
Why
down
are
the
you
streets.
out here trying to
Some
crank
dudes
that
just-
Soldier Boy
Oh,
right
yeah.
Some
now?
dudes cranking that Soldier Boy in a pickup truck.
Plaid shorts.
Yeah.
You think they're in
These
high
ki-
school or out of high school?
I don't know.
I think they're
He's
out of high
he's-
school.
He's killing it, having a great time.
Too
So
young not to be doing that.
So yeah, yeah, that's kind of like my main goal right now is put out that good music, as far as that's concerned, and then also as well, I always wanted to put out an album that was called Fresh Fruit, which I wanted to do almost a year ago, but I started going back and listening to the songs and I didn't feel like they were good. I didn't want to put them out.
Not fresh enough.
Nope. And so
Not
I
fresh.
don't even like play those songs from that time period
Man.
anymore. So I'll go back and put that together and get the artwork done once I feel like the songs are where they need to be. But
Can you put those songs on an EP called like Stepchildren?
yeah, I could.
Wow.
I could.
Man.
People might dig them, man.
We're over B-sides. It's Stepchildren.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, we could give that a go. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now. Besides just like being prepared for this whole dad thing.
Yay.
Dad beats.
Yeah.
The dad.
Dad
the,
beats.
The dad
Dad
EP.
beats incoming.
The dad EP.
You've been rapping more too, like.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, yes.
Yeah, I've been rapping a lot more, and I want to have better freestyles. So I've decided to not have certain beverages before,
Understandable.
because it's harder for me to pull creative new words out of my head.
What's the creative juice then?
Just the people around me,
Okay.
Yeah.
and a nice
Yay.
kombucha.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had and I want to give a shout out to Brian Schultz the other night, who asked me if I wanted a drink at DCBC, and I told him no, my stomach didn't feel good, and he brought me a kombucha because they have that on tap.
It's probiotic.
And it's
It's
and I'm not
awesome.
kidding. I felt so much
Definitely.
better. And so shout out to kombucha. Really does work. Like it has helped me through some strenuous times.
yeah, you need
So
bugs in your tummy. Eat
it-
food for
I
you,
know.
man.
Yeah.
It take
I know,
care of
for
you,
real.
man. I know that's what's weird.
They had a
about
CBD
Yeah.
one at Harvest House for a while.
Yeah,
but
that
I
one's
think it's
good.
gone now.
it. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Oh, they had a
So-
blueberry hibiscus
Tragic.
joint on there recently.
So
Some of the
good.
cannabis though. That was
Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
that was good. But folks, we are officially out of time. It's crazy
Dope.
how quick time can go when
True.
you've got the Something Modern crew. Please,
Hey, where are we
if
hanging
you-
out after
If
this?
you do, I don't even know.
I'm
Tell-
hungry.
well, tell them.
Just come find us. We'll
Yeah.
most likely
Come-
be at the Monk.
Yeah, come
True.
find us at the Monk.
DCBC.
Gabby's
trying to
around
eat some
this
pizza,
area.
even
Yeah,
though-
some pizza.
yeah.
We'll also be next
Oh,
week.
yeah,
We'll
the
be
pizza
out
truck.
at Almost Famous Pizza for Lofty Beats live stream. Shout out to DCBC and Almost Famous for helping us put that together. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you go like the Instagram Something Modern, and
Yes.
go like the Facebook page
Yes.
as
You
well.
better.
Check out the
we love you.
website.
We love you, Denton,
You better.
and we want you to love us. All right?
SomethingModern.net.
So that's what it's going to be. SomethingModern.net.
Yes, check it
That
out.
is
Look
right.
on the
Long live
YouTube
Breakfast
page.
Boys.
Yeah, and follow
Yeah.
the Breakfast
Long
Boys.
live
Follow
Breakfast
it all.
Boys.
Long
Follow
live
it
the
all.
Breakfast Boys.
Follow
Sorry,
it all. All right, y'all. So next week, please tune in. I've got the boys Westway on the show because we had a tornado last week.
Oh.
It was funny. I
going
messaged
east,
them. I was like,
ironically.
hey, we're not like we got to cancel the show because of the tornado. And the
Mm-hmm.
kid responded. He was like, oh, no show tonight. I was just
Aw.
like, have you looked outside? Nah,
He was
man. It's like-
willing.
yeah. But I'm excited to have them out. It's going to be a good time. Once again, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, LSA Burger Company, for keeping the show on the air. And of course, y'all stick around for Ellie Bell and the Denton
Yes.
Vibe coming up next. She's always got
Yes.
the greatest guests.
It's that
Actually
girl.
won Best Podcast at the
Big
Art
facts.
and Music Awards. So stick around for that. I will see y'all next week right here on DentonRadio.com.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace, peace,
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton.